Hey Morris, how you doing?
Good morning to you, Mr. Mullen in the house.
How are you?
How are you doing, sir?
I'm very well. Yourself?
All right, all right. So you're still at home in the UK right now, huh?
I am. Yeah, I'm here till I think I fly on the 15th.
The magic of technology.
Isn't it great?
Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. We do love it. We do appreciate it. Well, I gotta say, my friend, it's great seeing you once again, Gary. All excited about it. Once again, the one night of Queen with Gary Mullen and the Works, July 18th, a beautiful Saturday in Saratoga at the wonderful Mountain Winery. Looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing you again, sir. Are you ready?
We are. It's going to be a very hot show. I'm pretty sure. And it's not exactly the coolest gig we play because it's outdoor. It's very, very hot, and being Scottish, not used to that heat, but it's a great night. It's such a beautiful venue. I mean, well, you were there last time. There's a great vibe to it, even though it's an open air concert. There's something kind of special about that venue.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what we here in the Bay Area really, really love about the Mountain Winery. It's a 360-degree experience. So you've got the entertainment on the stage, but you're also outdoors looking at the stars. You're enjoying some good drinks, some good snacks. You're
Yeah.
around wonderful people. It's an intimate venue as well. So
Yeah.
wherever you are, if you're in the seats way in the back, you're still right there. You don't have these big screens that you have to pretend that you're looking at
Exactly.
what's happening on the stage, because I'm that
Yeah.
kind of guy. I don't when I go to a show, I don't want to look at the screens. I want to look at what's happening on the stage,
No,
and
I'm the same.
especially when you're coming to scrutinize the audacity of someone who thinks he can bring Freddie Mercury to us the way that you can, sir. And it's the transformation is just uncanny. When we were
Thank you.
there last year, we had front row, which was
Yeah.
beautiful. Thank you so much. And but some folks might be like, well, maybe that's too close, because now you can really get into it and really analyze everything Gary is doing, making sure he doesn't miss a single Freddie Mercury nuance. And you bring it 100%, sir. 100%
Thank you.
up close, no matter where you are in the venue. Okay, I'm going to stop gushing all over you, sir.
And also, the unfortunate thing for front row is you're in the sweat zone.
Yeah, we got some of that. We got
Which,
some we got
if you
some good
got,
old Gary Mullen sweat.
yeah, I always see the people in the front row with a drink, and I do that, and I'm like, oh, that's not cool. It's not cool.
But
But
actually, it is cool, sir, because that's really what it's all about. The spirit of
yeah,
Freddie Mercury and Queen, brought to us by yourself and the Works, man. It's a great time out. I can't stop telling people how great it is and how they should be there. I
thank
can't
you.
think of a better way to celebrate the peak of summertime than on a beautiful Saturday night, checking you guys out. Let's go back a little bit, Gary, if you will. For listeners who haven't seen One Night of Queen, what do you think they should expect from the show?
It, it's a party. I say to people, it's a rock and roll party. Leave all your stresses and all your worries at the door, and come in and just rock out with us for 2 hours. You want to dance, you want to sing, you want to play a guitar, you want to headbang.
Yeah.
It's that kind of show. And Queen, and Freddie was very good at that. The audience participation thing of making everyone in the audience feel that it was their show. The band were there providing the show, and it's the same with us. We're providing the music, but we want you to provide the energy, and then we
Yeah.
feed off the energy, and we give the energy back, and it becomes a real inclusive thing for the audience and the band, where we all just kind of go on this journey for 2 hours, and then hopefully by the end they've had as much fun as we do performing this show. And this year we've got the Magic Tour anniversary, which is the show we're doing, which is 40 years since Freddie's final tour with Queen,
Oh
and it
wow.
never toured America. So we decided, let's bring it to America. Let's give the American audiences what they never got a chance to see live.
Absolutely, man. That's gonna be so so wonderful. Let's go back a little bit further here. You've been a lifelong Queen fan. I
Yeah.
gotta ask you, Gary, what was it about Freddie Mercury that first inspired you personally?
My first, and I think I spoke to you about this before, but my first sort of visual and audible experience of Queen was a TV show called Top of the Pops, which was like your kind of chart show. And it was a video for We're the Champions with Freddie in the black and white leotard. And of course, anyone that remembers the video or doesn't, the video starts just with Freddie sitting on the drum riser in that singing to the camera. And then, boom, it pulls out. There's the band, there's the lights, there's the smoke, and there's the audience. And the song kicks in. And I was just blown away. I was like 5, 6 years old, just thinking, who's that guy? Who are these superheroes? You know, it's like, what is this? And I was hooked, and it became a lifelong journey for me. Even way before the career, it was, you know, the posters on the wall and the albums and the cassettes. But yeah, I'm not old cassettes. And just, you know, the journey of being a fan, and then this is an extension of me because I'm still a fan. I still listen to Queen. I still watch the concerts. You know, I still buy vinyl and anything that comes out rare. I try and get my hands on it. I'm still a fan.
Yeah.
And it's a fan paying tribute to his hero for other fans. That's pretty much what the show is.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Now, of course, it was your wife and your mom who actually first entered you into Stars in Their Eyes, the show.
Yeah.
What was your? I'd be so mad. But what was your reaction when you found that out?
Well, I was at work when I got the phone call from the network, and my wife was like dead excited. Oh, you got a call, and I was like, all right, cool.
Wow.
And then they called me back, and I thought it was my friend pranking me, so I was really sarcastic to the guy on the phone. I was like, oh, really? Wow, you don't say? And then I was like, I didn't apply for anything. Oh, no. Oh, no, your wife and your mum did. And I'm like, what? And then I said to them, I was like, what are you doing? And they're like, well, you would never go on yourself, and everyone kept telling you should go on and do it, and we just thought we'd take it out of your hands.
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks. And then the whole thing sort of gained legs, and then suddenly you're going to the TV studio for audition. You go to the audition, and then you're going for costume fittings, and you're rehearsing with the band, and then suddenly it becomes real. And the thing that you used to watch on a Saturday night with your family, you're in it. You know what I mean? You're in it, and it's like, I'm thinking I could just run out of the studio and head for the hills right now, and no one would even get any the wiser, you know. But I did it, and no thought that this crazy life, this career would you know, it was 26 years ago this year, the TV show. And I'm so blessed. I mean, I'm grateful is not a word I could use easily, but to go around the world and play these songs and be doing this as a middle-aged guy, starting at 26 and getting to nearly 53 and still running about a stage and getting to go to places like, you say, the Mountain Winery, and standing on that stage, and you know, the other guy does the show, and I think I said this to you before, the other guy does the show and this guy stays in the wings, but sometimes this guy kind of pops out and goes,
Yeah.
this is kind of awesome. And then what kind of pops back in again because it's my safety blanket, you know. The other guy does it, but it was an incredible moment in my life, you know. And as John, the drummer, who I've been friends with since we were, you know, teenagers, he said, "Dude, at one point you were one of the most famous people in Britain."
Wow.
And I was like, I suppose I was, you know, in the local supermarket, and people would be sort of walking by you and smiling and doing that weird thing, and you kind of go, what are you looking at?
Looking at?
Can I get an autograph? Can I get a photograph? And following you in the suit. And then, like, the strangest one was we were sitting at home one night, and a couple, drunk, turned up on our doorstep, and we're having an argument, and I opened the door, and the guy was like, hey man, are you the guy with Stars in Their Eyes? And I said, yeah. And he swore at his wife, I told you. And then I went, wait, good night now.
Yeah, right.
And I closed it, and I turned to my wife and I went, I think we should move house.
Right.
And we did.
This might be the time.
This might be the time to move. Yeah.
Gary, do you have any photos like handy within reach where you're sitting right now of you actually having made that transformation? Like we see you on the stage, we see you on the, you know, on the press photos online. Do you have anything in your grasp that you can just throw in the camera really quick to show folks this amazing transformation? If you don't, that's okay. That's okay. I can probably.
I do actually. I have this, and I'm I'm going to take it off the wall. This is our platinum ticket award from France. Where we sold, like, we were the biggest selling act in France, and that's what I look like on stage.
There he is, folks. Get a look at that. Get a look at that. That is exactly what you see on stage. I mean, Gary really turns into Freddie Mercury in every single way possible. Now, there's looks. There's the looks. I think that may be Well, I was going to say the easiest part, but maybe not so, because I mean, when it comes to capturing Freddie Mercury in his talent, in his essence, there's all, I mean, the guy was like physically at the top of his game as well. You know,
Yeah,
you got to be, you can't just saunter up on stage and, you know, put the mustache on and the wig on and be Freddie
yeah.
Mercury. You got to have your stuff together
Oh yeah,
100% from the singing to the dancing to the knowing the songs, the vocals, and of
yeah,
course the physique that he was in top
yeah.
physical shape. So, what would you say is the biggest challenge in capturing Freddie Mercury's incredible stage presence night after night after night?
It's keeping the energy levels up. You know, you if you're doing show three and you've been traveling or you're suffering from jet lag and you're not quite, you're not quite with it, the audience don't care. They don't care about that. They've paid their ticket money. Every ticket's got a story attached. It could be a couple on a date night, an anniversary, a birthday, fans that have seen
That's
Queen
right.
live. We've got to bring it. We've got to bring it. So you've got to get yourself in that headspace. I go to the gym when I can be bothered, and I do a lot of cardio and things, and
Yeah,
to
yeah,
keep me, train my voice and things. But
yeah.
when it comes to the show, we all build ourselves up, and you got to kind of, it's like for people of a certain age, it's like the Evil Knievel stunt cycle when you used to wind, and then you press the button and it would take off. It's that kind of thing. You've got to, and I know you're a musician yourself. You know
Yeah.
how it is. You've got to get yourself in that mindset. You've got to go, right, I'm getting on there to perform. You don't just want to kind of waltz on and, all right, look at your
Right.
watch and,
Right.
and
Well, you know,
play,
Gary,
because
but
people are like,
I
you
asked the
know,
question. I asked the question because while that's what you shouldn't do, some folks do that. So when someone like yourself goes up there at night after night
yeah,
and puts all that you have onto that stage, there's a whole lifestyle that goes along with that, and you bring
absolutely.
that, and that's what really stands out, and that's what we love and appreciate so much about you doing for what you do for yourself, but also in the honor of Freddie Mercury, which is amazing.
Well, it's nice to be, as I say, we're all the guys in the band. We all started in our 20s and we're all in our 50s. Some of us, one of the guys, Malcolm's in his 60s, early 60s, but we all look after ourselves. Malcolm swims like a
Wow.
million lengths of a pool every
Wow.
day. He's in the swimming pool, just non-stop swimming. We all go out walks. We go to the gym.
Yeah.
You you pass a hotel gym, and you're usually one of us is coming out as one of us is going in. Morning,
Yeah.
morning, or you're on the treadmill chatting to each other, and it just it becomes a lifestyle. It becomes a good lifestyle because you're watching what you eat. You're
Yeah.
watching. I don't drink on the tours. I have a little glass of wine when I'm home, but when
Sure,
I'm on the
sure.
tour, it's like, no, you got to just stay in that zone,
Yeah.
because it is all or nothing,
Yeah.
and I was speaking to Gary Sharon from Extreme last week, so I became
Oh,
friends
wow.
with the guys who were playing Glasgow, and I said to him, how do you, because he's a couple of years older than me, he goes, cardio and coffee. And I went, good answer.
There you
It's a
go.
good answer. And it is that thing you got to keep. And those guys, again, we went to see them and they just left it on the stage. They just brought it. And you're like,
Wow.
that's how rock and roll should be. People want, and as Freddie said, people want to see entertainers. They want the show business. They want the energy. They want the commitment to the songs, and they want the dedication to the audience. And it's got to be that, and it's fun. As you know, I chat to the crowd, and I love latecomers. You know that yourself. You were
Ah,
20
don't
minutes
bring
late
that up.
last time. I hate to say it. I got to say it.
Why would you remember that?
And I was like, and I went, I know who that is. And when I saw you, I was
Oh
like,
my
oh, I can't
gosh.
believe it's Morris. But it's that thing. But it's a fun thing. It's
Yes,
not.
it
It's
is. Yes,
not.
it is.
It's not like humiliate someone. It's
No, no, no.
remember I said to you, you're buying the drinks, and it is
Yeah.
that thing,
Yeah.
or someone. There was we had a guy on the tour in the spring. An old guy who was asleep. He fell asleep,
What?
like front row. And I
Oh,
said to his wife, I said, is he dead? And she went, nobody will be if he doesn't wake up.
yeah,
She
exactly.
did that to him.
Exactly.
And I jumped off the stage and I stood like there, and I just went, boom. And he nearly leapt through the ceiling. And then the
Wow.
rest of the night, he was on. He was
Yeah.
he was like, Radio Gaga. He was in. He was
Yeah.
like not taking his eyes off me. And I thought, he maybe had a tough day. It's like, but after that, he didn't. He probably thought to himself, I'm never getting front row seat ever again.
Exactly. or that will never happen again.
Oh,
So
that'll
either
never happen
or,
again. Exactly.
either or, Gary, you have improved his life for sure. That's a wonderful story, and you'll be happy to know I'm never late ever again either. So there you go.
We shall
There
see.
you
We
go.
shall see.
Someone's calling me out. It'll be Gary calling me out. Someone's gonna call me out. Gary, you've been doing this for a long time. At some point, you come face to face with folks from the actual band Queen. I know that you had the chance to meet Brian May.
Yeah.
Now you've been up there doing Brian May's music, for a very long time, and then all of a sudden you're face to face with the guy. What was that moment like?
It was like Wayne's World at first when they meet, when Wayne and Garth meet Alice Cooper. You know, that kind of, we're not worthy, we're not. There was that moment of, holy crap, it's Brian May,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
came in and he sat down. You know, we
And
shook
he
his hand.
sat down. You
Yeah,
you didn't tell him to keep going. Keep going, sir.
yeah. And the first thing he asked me was, "Hey, you're just back from America. How was your tour?" And it took my brain a minute to go, "Hang on, he just asked you how your tour was,
Wow.
not, and did you enjoy America?" And I'm like, right, you might want to answer him. I'm trying to tell my brain, hello, mouth, say
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah.
And then we chatted for about 45 minutes. He was such a
Wow.
nice guy, so modest. And then as I stood up to say, we were just chatting about touring and life and the universe and everything. And as I went to say goodbye, he gave me a hug and he said, "Keep up the good work. Freddie would be proud."
Oh, wow.
And I just
Wow.
thought,
Wow.
okay,
Wow.
that's the moment.
Wow.
That's it. We're done. And we've kept in contact with him. You know, Dave, our guitarist, has an endorsement with a guitar company that makes the replicas of his guitar. And he keeps it. I know that he keeps an eye on what we're doing. And that's when your heroes turn out to be. There's that old saying, "Don't make a hero because you'll always be
Yeah,
disappointed."
yeah,
For
yeah.
me, for me, it wasn't the case. He was such a cool guy, and
Yeah.
such a very generous and very modest rock star for everything that he's achieved. Such a nice, down to earth guy.
Right on, right on. You know, Queen's music continues to connect with people, Gary, around the world, decade after decade. Why do you think, maybe especially in these days that we're living through, if you will, why do you
Yeah.
think these songs remain so powerful and relevant to our world today?
They had a knack of, for a start, a lot of people might not know, but all four members of the band were songwriters, and all four members of the band had a top 20 hit.
Wow.
Whereas usually, like Beatles had Lennon and McCartney,
Yeah,
Zeppelin had Page, or Townsend for The Who.
yeah,
All these four guys, and they brought their own elements, like, Deacon with the sort of funk stuff,
yeah,
Bites the
yeah,
Dust,
yeah.
that kind of stuff. Brian with, like, big Time of the Down, big heavy. Freddie with the sort of opera theatrical, and Roger was quite punky, and then got into the sort of synth music, like things like Radio
Yeah.
Gaga and kind of Magic. So they brought all these elements and they just had a knack at writing anthems, just
Wow.
these big songs that and spoke to people. I think "Don't Stop Me Now" has been scientifically proven to be one of the happiest songs ever written.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you see it. You can, as soon as we play it tonight, and I'm going to have the crowd just go, and they
Yeah.
just lose it. And then when that beat kicks in, they want to go up and boogie. It's just that thing. They just had a knack of writing incredible, because they were very critical of each other. Brian told me that. He says, we bring a song in, that's crap. We're not using that.
Wow.
And
Wow.
they'd fight tooth and nail
Yeah.
to get the best things on the records to be the best songs, and everyone dabbled in everyone else, even though it was his song or his song. I mean,
Right.
towards the end, it was the four guys collectively that wrote as a group, but in the day, it was like, yeah, I can put that to that song. Why don't we do this? The famous one's "A Kind of Magic," which was quite rocky on the Highlander theme.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then Roger went on vacation and Freddie completely remixed it and released it as a single.
Yeah.
And Roger came back and went, "Is that my song?" And he went, "Yeah, what do you think, darling?" He went, "I like it."
Yeah.
Because he was away, he didn't need to come back, and he was like, "What are you doing with my song?" And he completely remixed it. And it became commercial, and it became a hit all over Europe. So, it was that thing of, they just had and especially Freddie, Brian said that Freddie had a knack of just hearing something and going, "That'll work.
Yeah.
That's going to work. Let's work on that. And if it wasn't, put it to the side. We'll work on that later. Let's work on this. That's the hit. Or that's the piece. That's exciting." And just very self-critical.
They kept each other. They held each other accountable and held each other to
Exactly.
the highest standard.
Yeah.
And
And
that's why they're the
yeah.
legends that they are. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Freddie would always say, there's a famous interview for Rock in Rio, and it was like, "Oh, you're the leader of the band," and he was like, "No, I'm the lead singer. We're four equal members," and
Yeah.
there were four. It was a democracy in Queen. It was either all or nothing, and
And it
that's
seems
why I
and it
think that's
seems
why
like
they
some
lasted so long.
And it seems like that seems to be the common thing with a lot of some of the greatest bands ever, is that,
Yeah,
when everyone's bringing their equal part to the project, it always works out better,
yeah. You've
just
got to
because
leave.
it's got to pass through four different tests,
Yeah, and you've got to
each
leave your ego at the door. You've got to leave your ego at the door and say, right, what's going to work? What
yeah,
is going to
yeah,
work
yeah,
musically? Do we have a vibe here? Is this gelling? You know yourself. You get in a room with a group of mates. We do it even if we're picking songs for the tour. We go, right, what's going to gel here?
yeah,
What do we play?
yeah,
We
yeah,
play it.
yeah,
And if it's not cooking for the five guys in the band, because obviously there's five of us.
yeah,
If we're not feeling it, if it doesn't turn us on, doesn't make the cut for the show. It's like,
right,
nah, that's out. What about this one? Oh, that's a bit left field. Let's try that.
yeah,
Oh, that's cooking.
yeah,
Well, do you think the audience will like it? It's maybe a little bit of a deep cut. They'll
yeah,
like it because we like it. If we play it with energy, they'll get a kick out of it. And that's a lot of people after shows will come up and say, "Hey, what was that piece of music you played? I've never heard that before." Oh, that's from this album and it's called that. That's Dragon Attack. Oh, that's so cool. And then they'll go and they'll buy the album. So it just means that people are getting as I say, we give the greatest hits package, and then there's some deep cuts in there that people may not know. That
right.
they might turn them on to be their new favourite song.
That's so great. That is so cool. That is so great. So along the lines of the music, Gary, we have younger generations that are, a
Yeah,
lot of them, discovering Freddie Mercury and Queen for the first time, or
yeah,
maybe they haven't discovered them for the very first time, but they don't know a whole lot about them. But they're
yeah.
coming to the shows, and they're really really loving and appreciating the music. Why would you say that Queen's music is resonating with younger generations? Like, Freddie Mercury and Queen have been a part of our lives the
Yeah,
entire time. Like, we kind of
yeah,
grew up with them in a
yeah,
way, but
yeah,
younger folks are like being attracted to this without having that back. The
yeah,
decades of experience that we have. We know
yeah,
why we like them. The kids are finding out about them and going and being blown away.
yeah,
They've got their music today, but they're checking ours out as well and loving ours and supporting the things that you're doing as a tribute
yeah,
to Freddie Mercury and
yeah.
Queen. How do you explain that?
I think one of the main ones that we found for in the last, say, 6 or 7 years anyway, has been the movie. Bohemian Rhapsody has been
Yeah,
a big catalyst to bring in the younger kids, because they go to the movie with their mums and dads or
yeah,
their grand.
yeah,
They come and see this movie, and there's this incredible story about these incredible guys, and especially Freddie. Bit of poetic license in it, but that's okay. It's Hollywood; they can do what they
yeah,
want.
yeah, yeah.
And it's the same with the Michael. We all went on a day off, band and crew, to see the Michael Jackson movie, and we
Oh,
were all just
cool.
kind of sitting.
Yeah,
We were
yeah,
all getting into it.
yeah.
And then and then we're all playing it in the dressing rooms of things, and I think that's the thing. I think it's like throwing a fishing rod into a lake. That movie gave everyone a taste
Yeah.
of, oh right, these guys are cool. Who's
Right.
this? And
Right.
then suddenly the kids go and they find their mum and dad's or their relatives' record collections, and
Yeah.
suddenly Queen 2, what's this? And they put it on and they go, oh my God, what is that? And then they're turned on to the music, and that is incredible. I think that, and again, things that we will rock you. Every sporting event, we are the champions. Every sporting event, another one bites the dust. You hear them all. They're just in the public consciousness, in TV commercials and movies. There's bits of it just, and then suddenly a kid goes, "Hey, I like that. I want to. Can I buy a guitar?"
Yeah.
That's the next rock star.
Yeah.
That's
Just the
that's the
same way
move.
that it happened for us when we were younger.
Exactly. And we've met so many kids. We've a lot of affiliations with a lot of the School of Rocks across America, and we get the kids to come, and they come to the shows and they do Q&As, and they want to come and hang out,
Yeah.
and the question I get asked a lot, especially from the kids that want to be singers: what would you recommend I watch for inspiration? I just say Live Aid, Queen, the
Yeah.
greatest 20 minutes of music you'll ever see in your life. If you want to
That's so
see how
true.
to hold if you want to see how to hold an audience there, with no sound check, no big lights and no big staging, just four guys going out and rocking the place, that's your starting point, and then go from there. Look up Led Zeppelin, look up Iron Maiden, look up AC/DC, look up the Rolling Stones, look up the Who, the Police, and I just start rhyming off all my favourites. Look at Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, just Lionel Richie.
Prince.
Don't just go Prince. Don't just go rock and roll. Expand yourself.
Yeah.
You know, even Luciano Pavarotti. Go there.
Yeah.
Find out this eclectic, and then take your inspirations from all of that. Because these guys took all their inspirations from all of that and just made it into the melting point, which became rock and roll, which is a very loose term, but yeah.
Gary, that's a great place to wrap it up here. I got to tell you, we are looking forward to seeing Gary Mullen and the Works, a wonderful tribute to Queen, One Night of Queen, July 18th, the Mountain Winery in Saratoga. It's going to be great to see you again, sir. I
It'll be
will
great.
not be late since you went there.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
And it's going to be great to see you again, sir. And any,
Likewise.
any final thought you want to leave with our listeners before we close?
Just come and have a party with us, you know, just come along and just have a good night, you know, come along and sing. Don't be scared to sing. Don't be scared to dance. Because you see people giving it, oh, I don't know. Like us, you're with friends. We're all just there. We're all there together.
Yeah.
Nobody cares if you're up dancing. Nobody cares if you've took your t-shirt off and did this. Nobody cares. I
Right.
don't care. I'll have my
Right.
t-shirt off because I'll be sweating anyway, but
Right.
just
Right.
come and let yourselves go. Just let yourself go. Nobody's going to judge you. You're with friends.
And we'll leave it right there. Gary Mullen and the Works. One Night of Queen. Man, that's going to be a great tribute. It's going to be at the Mountain Winery Saturday, July 18th. Thank you so much for your time, sir, and we will see you soon.
Thank you, Morris.